All right, what's going on, guys? It's Fast Cars, Fast Money, and we're here for Throwback Weekend. All the teams are throwing it back to old paint schemes. Super excited to see what all these teams have had on the track as far as the paint schemes go. This is one of my favorite weekends, but also means it's a NASCAR DFS weekend. So we are here. We're going to be breaking down the slate again, driver by driver. And as always, you can find us on Twitter. It's @FastCarsFM. We'll post a spreadsheet over there. You can pull it up yourself when you're making lines. You can ask us any questions you have, or you can drop them down in the comments below. And as also, I said this on the truck video too, but I just wanted to thank you guys so much. We hit our goal of getting 100 subscribers last weekend. So thank you guys so much for helping us achieve that. But I'm here with Rich and Coop, and we're going to be breaking down the Xfinity series slate. And then afterwards, you can hop over and watch the truck video if you haven't already, or our cup video. And Crazy Cavs could be on the cup video. So make sure you tune into that one as well.
Woo!
But yeah, woo. All right, so let's get into the preview real quick. If you look at the slate, there's a lot of good place differential plays in the field, very similar to the truck series. I think the biggest question in the Xfinity series you have to ask yourself is who's going to get the early jump. You have AJ Allmendinger and Austin Cindric on the front row. And to me, I'm going to be trying to pick one of those guys and then, pairing in some good place differential plays along with some good value plays in there as well. This is a really tough track. It's arguably one of the toughest tracks that we go to on the circuit. Running the wall is the fastest. It's very similar to Homestead. This place is very worn out, so the tires get chewed up pretty quickly. You're going to see a lot of people hitting the right side of their car into the wall. So probably going to be, a lot of cut tires and a lot of caution flags, which always mixes up the slate. But I guess we'll start with you, Coop, because we usually start with Rich. So I'll give you a shot of giving the initial thoughts here for the most expensive guys from Ty Gibbs down to AJ Allmendinger. What are your thoughts on these guys?
I really like the most three expensive drivers there. I like Ty Gibbs a lot. There's no downside to him. He's going to move up. He's going to do great. He's shown it this year. All year long, he's been racing well, and I really like him. Allgaier, I feel the same way, and I think he's got a lot of potential to get inside the top 10, top 5, and race really well here as well. Generally runs well on these types of tracks. And I also like Brandon Jones. I think he may get overlooked a little bit, but I think that he's a very solid play. He's raced well all year. And I think he's a good play at that price point. And I think it's a nice pivot off those top two guys. Allmendinger, I don't know how crazy I am about him. We've said it over and over again in these last couple of races. The pole sitter's actually done really well. But with Austin Cindric right there at number 2 in the second starting spot, that's just a tough place to sit on the pole, as the pole sitter. So don't feel as good about him as I do the other three. The other three are just a lot safer.
What about your thoughts, Rich?
Yeah, I agree with Jason. The top 3 drivers, or the most expensive drivers, are the ones I'm looking at through this range. It's I don't really see Allmendinger dominating this race, so it's tough to play him starting on the pole. He could potentially win. It's just tough to see him or envision him going out and dominating the race with Austin Cindric starting right there, and Noah Gragson not too far behind. But the top range, love Ty Gibbs, like Coop said, doesn't offer any downside. He's in a fast Joe Gibbs 54 car. So love playing him. Allgaier, Junior Motorsports, this car's pretty quick. Would not be surprised to see Allgaier up into the top 5. So he's a solid play. He may get some dominator points or some fast laps as the race rolls on, but I doubt we'll see him dominate this race early. And Brandon Jones, he beat Kyle Busch here last year. So I got no problems playing him, and he's starting a little bit farther back, so he gives you that place differential as well as dominator potential.
Yeah, I think both Ty Gibbs and Brandon Jones are really good plays. Offer a ton of upside. They're not really that risky. There's not really too much downside to them. Whereas, if you do pay all the way up for AJ Allmendinger and he doesn't get that early lead and Austin Cindric takes it away from him and he starts, going back, or even if he has a problem, it's really going to hurt your line. So for me, I'm going to be chasing these place differential points because I know these guys have, fast laps and lap leader potential as well. So I'm going to be focusing on Ty Gibbs and Brendan Jones. But if you want to be contrarian, I think a lot of people are going to think very similarly to the way that, you both just describe of like, oh, Cindric's just going to get the early lead. So maybe build if you're building multiple lines, maybe build a handful of lines where you don't play Cindric, where you're playing Allmendinger, because maybe he does, maintain that early jump and leads up until, maybe someone else takes over. And Colleague's been pretty good here over the past, handful of races at Darlington. We've seen Ross Chastain in the 10 car that now Jeb Burton drives run really, really well here and, race with Kyle Busch. And I don't know if it was the same race that Jones won or a different race that Kyle Busch was in, but these Colleague cars are they're definitely a top team. But with that being said, I still think Austin Cindric's a better play. Noah Gragson, this is a track that similar to Homestead, if you run the wall, you're going to be running those fast laps. That's the kind of style that Gragson likes. Hemrick's been really good this year. He's in good equipment, but he doesn't offer the same kind of PD upside that a Michael Annett or a Josh Berry does. So, I mean, it's really easy to pair some of these, attractive place differential plays in your line. But if you want to be a little bit different, you want to take some risks, I think going to, some GPP plays, I think maybe like a Hemrick or an Allmendinger might be, a little bit of a different way of thinking than just, oh, I'm going to play these attractive PD plays. But I know you guys are pretty high on Cindric, but who else do you like in the 9K range?
I really like Cindric, obviously starting there on the front row, but I really like Gragson as well. Darlington is a track where you can run the wall and pick up big runs coming out of the corners, and that kind of fits Gragson's driving style. We saw that, forget where it was at, Las Vegas or Phoenix, where he was running the outside and somebody blew a tire and came up and wrecked him on like the last 2 laps or whatever. So I really do like Gragson. Junior Motorsports cars are always really fast. He has the potential to get up there and maybe dominate this race early as well. So I had no problems playing him. Don't mind Hemrick at all. I really don't see him dominating too much, but he can definitely finish around there. You would need some fast laps to probably pay off the price tag, though. Don't mind Annett or Josh Berry. All the Junior Motorsports cars are in play this week. And especially Annett and Berry starting as far down as they do, they offer some solid place differential and maybe even some fast laps and a little bit of dominator potential as well.
I agree with the majority of that too. I think Cindric is a great play for 9,900 starting second. I think Cindric has a very good chance of getting out early and dominating a good portion of this race. Great play. Noah Gragson the same way. If it's tough, it's tough because it feels like Gragson's always pushing hard in these races, and he's getting great. He's putting in great races, and then sometimes it just falls apart. But he's always there, and I think he's a lot faster than people realize. So I really like the Gragson play a lot. Hemrick is another guy that has raced fantastic this year, and he's another guy that I think will come in under-owned. So if you wanted to be super contrarian, a line like maybe Brandon Jones, AJ Allmendinger, Hemrick, that would be just stupid low-owned. And I think it has a lot of upside too, and it would fade a lot of the guys that we're talking about who we think will see a lot of chalk. And if you're going in a huge tournament, I don't mind that at all. I actually really like Hemrick. He's raced a lot better this year than people I think realize. And between Michael Annett and Josh Berry, I personally prefer Annett, but you could flip a coin and go either way. I like both of them, and they're both great plays at that price tag.
You want to just keep rolling through to the next range there?
I was doing that good. You want me to keep rolling, huh?
Yeah,
all
I
right,
like it. I like it.
Let's go. All right, Ryan Sieg. Ryan Sieg, again, another racer that's been racing really well this year. Starting 11th is a little high for me, though, but I do not mind Sieg, and I don't think he'll come in high-owned either. A guy I really like, if you're going the contrarian route again, is Justin Haley. I think Justin Haley will come in super low-owned, and I think that if you're doing that contrarian line, Haley's raced well. You know, he's racing in the Cup Series, and he's not been quite as good as I thought he was going to be in both series. However, I think that he always has that sneaky upside that you're looking for in a huge GPP tournament. Harrison Burton's been great all year. The dude's on fire. He's been in starting 8th. He even gives you, I would say, PD upside. This dude should be top 5. And the guy's just been running well. Riley Herbst, I don't really have any interest in him. Great equipment, but he's just been disappointing. Brett Moffitt at 13th. He's been surprising this year. Really been running well and a little unexpected. But he's shown that he's got the skill as a driver to put in the work and make it happen. So he's been making it happen. And I don't have any interest in Godovic here. He'll be all right, but he just doesn't have the equipment to move up too far. So I'd rather go for a higher upside play.
Yeah, and for me, for this range, I like Harrison Burton the most, just with the equipment that he's in, and the potential of him, leading laps and running those fast laps. Like, he has that potential. I think, Coop said it, that sneaky upside GPP play, and there's usually a couple that he gives out every video. So I guess Justin Haley is going to be one of those. And I agree. I mean, when I first saw him starting 4th, I didn't really have too much interest there. So you have to imagine that a lot of other people are going to be thinking the same way. Riley Herbst starts too.
I'll interject again. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
But when we're talking these contrarian plays and these sneaky upside plays, we're talking about guys that we wouldn't put in a line that we'd throw a lot of money on. We're talking about if you're playing in a huge GPP tournament and you're trying to be unique and get a takedown in a tournament where you're really sending it, that's the route to go. So I just wanted to clarify that. I would never play Haley in a cash game this week. It's just that GPP ownership play where you're really trying to get unique.
And what about you, Rich? What are your thoughts on this range here?
I agree with both of you guys. Harrison Burton is probably the best play in this range. Easily has probably the most dominator potential in this range. I know Coop doesn't really like Riley Herbst, but he's actually been running well over his past 3 or 4 races. It's tough to see him getting any dominator potential, but anything is possible in NASCAR. So I'll probably end up with a little bit of Riley Herbst. And with Brett Moffitt declaring for points in this series now, I expect him to be pushing super hard to get wins and to qualify for the playoffs.
You want to just keep going, Rich?
Sure, that's fine. Don't really have much interest with Jed Burton there starting 3rd. Love JJ Yaley. This SS Greenlight 17 car has been pretty good every single time he's been in it, at least. At $7,700, he's offering you some great salary savings. Would not be surprised to see him in the top 20 at all. Myatt Snyder, he can maintain a spot. He's pretty cheap. He can finish maybe a couple spots ahead of there and pay off the price tag. Not really interested in BJ McLeod too much, or really Jeremy Clements or Alex Ovey.
Yeah, for me, it's all about JJ Yaley in this range. I love playing Yaley. He always starts so deep in the field, and he always puts together, a pretty good run. And he's someone that isn't afraid to, maybe stay out a little bit longer and maybe take a couple of risks and get lucky with pit cycles and pit strategy, and even, potentially advance his spot further, because he's nothing to lose. I mean, he's not running in this car full time. He's just trying to get the best, finish possible. And he's a veteran driver. He knows how to get around this place where a lot of these other drivers don't have too much experience running Darlington. So I like Yaley by far the most out of this range, and not too crazy really about anyone else. What about you, Coop? Is there anyone you like in this range?
I love the Yaley. Same with you guys. He's raced great in this series, and he's just really shown that he's worth the price tag at this price. So I like Yaley. The others, I'm not really too excited about anybody. LeBay, maybe if he gets lucky, has a little bit of PD upside there, but that's about it.
Yeah,
Moving down into the next range, I do like Brandon Brown. I think he can run where he starts. I think he can get, the back end of the top 10. And if he does that, he's probably worth $7,000. So I don't mind that at all. I don't have too much interest in the rest of this range, though. He's really The only one I'd rather go down a little further. I guess Jaskol, if you're playing a cash line, doesn't have any downside, not a lot of upside, but no downside at least. So
Yeah, for me, it's if you look at finishing potential, Brandon Brown has the best chance to finish well. And this is a playoff team. Last year, I think they're in the playoffs. If you look at the point standings right now, this year as well, they've been running well. It's tough, with him starting ninth, but it's almost kind of like the Carson Hocevar play in the Truck Series, where it's like, hey, you just need him to basically hold on to his position. It's going to work out for you. So he can do that. The other guy I like is Jeffrey Earnhardt. He's thrown it back to Dale Earnhardt's patriotic scheme, the Olympic scheme that Dale Earnhardt ran. So I think that might give good old Jeffrey there some extra horsepower, and maybe wheel him up and give you some good PD points there. But with Matt Jaskol, he's not going to lose you any points, but I don't know if he's really going to get you any points either. So I'm not really too crazy there. But what about you, Rich? Do you like Earnhardt too, or no?
Yeah, love me some Jeffrey Earnhardt. That paint scheme just makes me want to play him in every single lineup, which is not going to happen. But really the only two in this range are Brandon Brown, Jeffrey Earnhardt. I might sprinkle in a couple with Colby Howard maybe, and I might have some Matt Jaskol as well. But it's not going to be near as much, and it's not going to be in my main line.
All right, let's get down to the punts here. If you're playing a lot of those top tier guys, sometimes you got to come down here and scrape the bottom of the barrel and try to find gold. But to me, I think it's obvious. For me, if I'm going down this low, there's two guys I want, and it's Bailey Curry and Josh Williams. I want Bailey Curry because he's just going to be coming off the Truck Series race, so he'll have a good understanding of, maybe the tire wear. He gets some laps underneath his belt. Like, yes, this equipment is, cannot be trusted. We've seen this equipment fail, time and time again. But when it doesn't fail, it usually is running, towards the front side of the 20. So starting basically dead last, if you look at him and Matt Jaskol there, I think Bailey Curry has a lot higher upside than Matt Jaskol and is much cheaper. So as a punt play, I don't mind that at all. He's not going to hurt your line at all. And he has the potential to really help it as long as he doesn't have a mechanical issue. The other guy I really like is Josh Williams. He's in a DGM equipment. It's the same equipment that Alex Labay is running. So it's not top tier equipment, but starting 21st, I can see him moving forward a couple spots, maybe getting you a 16th, a 17th, and 18th place finish. And at $5,600, that'll work out for you. All these other guys either start a little bit too close to the front, or I'm not crazy about the equipment that they're in.
I think you're spot on with Bailey Curry. I think he's a better play than BJ McLeod. I think he's a better play than Jaskol. I'm not sure why the prices don't reflect that, but I like Bailey Curry at that price. I also have some interest in Little. I think Jesse Little can move forward a little bit. And if he finishes in the early 20s at $5,200, come on. I mean, that's worth it. Weatherman and Williams, I agree with the Williams. And in the comments there, you have that he's a very similar play to LeBay, but much, much cheaper. So I guess why would you go with LeBay if you can go with Williams and Weatherman down that low? Normally, I'm not a Weatherman guy at all. However, if he's $4,600, I don't mind
that. The only two plays in this range I really like are Bailey Curry and Josh Williams. They're both probably going to end up being the highest earned in this range, honestly. I'll probably end up with a little bit of Jesse Little and a little bit of Kyle Weatherman, but mostly Josh Williams and Bailey Curry.
All right, so that's going to do it for Fast Cars, Fast Bunny for the Xfinity series. As always, thank you guys, and we'll catch you on the Cup video with Crazy Kev.
That's right.